Hello once again, faithful subscribers, and welcome one and all to the zombie apocalypse. Okay, maybe it's not the real thing, but today we're going to dive into 7 Days to Die from the Fun Pimps, who originally released this game for PC and had it published for the PlayStation 4 and Xbox One consoles via Telltale Games. The game we're looking at in question blends familiar mechanics from sandbox-style games such as Minecraft, with survival horror and first-person shooter themes in vein of Fallout and other dystopian worlds. Basically, the gameplay world here was ruined by nuclear warfare, and many of the living inhabitants are battling a viral infection that has transformed them into walking dead-like zombies. You, the player character, on the other hand, get to choose from a variety of different player skins and modifiers for your game map, with variables ranging from the timing of air supplies drops, including limits on what the AI can or cannot do during certain times of the day. The game, honestly, is about as realistic as I can imagine trying to survive in the wilderness can be under the said circumstances, and having to teach yourself to live off the natural resources you uncover as you roam about the map. And the game boasts both single and online multiplayer options. Thus far, I found that I actually prefer the multiplayer experience, as it seems to be the easiest to adapt to, because the fact you have someone else there that can assist you with crafting vital needs for your character as well as their own, and you can return the favor for them. I'll get to that a little bit more in a bit. I just personally found the single player map modes to be some of the most frustrating gameplay I've experienced in recent memory, but I'm not going to bash the game solely on those negative experiences. And 7 Days to Die definitely needs to be praised for both its atmosphere and graphical content. There is nothing too over the top, and it's easy enough to distinguish friend from foe, even in the darkness of nighttime. The concept is simple enough, really. You're really just trying to find the means to endure. You'll be hunting for wild game, learning to sew your own clothing together from cotton and other materials found in the wild, with very little handed to you, actually, other than a basic quest line meant to familiarize yourself with the game's overall general concepts. Establish yourself in the wild, whatever that means. My personal recommendation is, as quick as possible after the game starts, hunt for shelter. Establishing a base of operations is perhaps the single most crucial element of gameplay, and it centers around the problem I was having with my single-player map campaign earlier today. The game definitely will not pull any punches on you in its difficulty, on default settings that is, and I can't imagine really that it should be any different. I mean, you'll start out by sewing yourself a crude axe from wood and stones, stitching yourself together a set of clothing, and putting together a very basic campsite. In fact, pretty much all you get is a wooden frame and a campfire and a sleeping bag. Though, if you're lucky enough to find an abandoned house, it's possible to establish it as your residence and booby-trap the external parts for your own safety. From that moment onward, it's your job to find necessary medicine, other medical supplies, schematics for more sophisticated weaponry, and it's possible even to find motorcycle parts and components and put them together for those that might be looking for the experience of becoming Daryl Dixon incarnate. Yet, the strongest points in the gameplay can be considered double-edged. Die, for instance, and instead of traveling around looking for supplies, your mission focuses on retrieving your backpack that your corpse left behind in the wilderness. Now, of course, that can be far easier said than done in some cases, as under nighttime, a lot of the terrain becomes difficult to navigate, and you honestly don't see the zombies sometimes before it's too late. And when being unable to make visual contact with them, it makes fighting and even running difficult, because trying to run away, you might run yourself directly into oncoming trouble. And that can prove to be as frustrating as perhaps watching the last season's finale of The Walking Dead show, or even leaving some players looking for a dumpster to just hide under till morning. And But throughout the game, you'll discover there are a number of different skill sets for the players to develop. And in a team situation, there are clear advantages to having teammates. Like, for instance, one character can specify on developing cooking skills. One character can develop weapons. Because the more you rehearse assembling weapons, the better you get at doing it in a proficient and efficient manner. And not only does that increase the durability of your weapons and make them less likely to need repair, it also improves your effectiveness with those weapons in combat. And the chances of survival in those circumstances will actually increase by quite a large amount. And all in all, I actually recommend this game, especially for the multiplayer experience. The single player mode leaves too much to ground to cover in such a short time frame when starting out. On a 5-star scale, I definitely give the game at least a 4-star rating. With the punishing runs to retrieve your backpack that normally lead you directly into danger being the reason I declined to give it the final star. In the meantime, feel free to share and comment for more reviews on many new and classic gaming products. But before I go, tonight I'm going to announce my intention to host my first ever live stream, August 9th, for the long-awaited midnight release of the PlayStation 4 console exclusive, No Man's Sky. That, however, the date and time on that are subject to change, and for right now I would recommend keeping an eye on my Facebook and Twitter pages if you haven't liked or followed me on either or both already. And hey, while you're watching, go ahead and tap on the subscribe button. Don't worry, I promise she doesn't kiss and tell. Thank you for watching.